and welcome back to Watching Worst Film, the weekly podcast where we journey through the winners and the losers from the Golden Raspberry Awards, an annual ceremony dedicated to the very worst from Hollywood and beyond. I'm your host, Kyle Szymanski, joined as ever by Jericho Reed. Hello.
Hello?
And it's a little bit something different this week. It's another special. So yeah, I'd
hmm
say this is probably one of our most scrambled last minute specials. How did that come to be, Jericho?
So, completely flying by the seat of our pants, we had got to the end of the last record without deciding what we were going to do for a special. And the Zoom call cut off because inside baseball, behind the curtain, we do not pay for Zoom Premium. And so I just heard the first syllable when I was like, so what do you want to do for the next special? And Kyle said, huh. And I thought you were going to say a Hulk Hogan movie.
hmm
And so when we were reconvening, I was like, I think I knew what you were going to say, and it terrified me. And you revealed.
Yeah, it wasn't. I was gonna say a horror movie, something
And this
different
was a
from the
horror
rest.
movie of sorts.
Of course, no, but it's just showing how well you know me because I should have said Hogan. Uh,
Yeah.
I guess part of me was always not wanting this to become the washed up action hero show, the last action hero, if you will, which it could easily become. But it's a
Yeah.
very good shout, and for a nice change, it was you picking the special, but we were
Yeah.
going with the same rules we did for the lovely lonely ladies man, which
Yeah.
was the bottom tier, lowest rated Hulk Hogan.
Yeah.
That, without further ado, that brings us to our main event, which is 1996, Santa with Muscles. Great stuff. The strange one, I don't have much production stuff here.
Yeah.
Obviously, a big piece of trivia tidbit about this movie that is probably more famous than the movie itself, and it's the producer of this movie. It
I
is
didn't know this.
a certain Jordan Belfort, better known as the Wolf of Wall Street himself.
I was leaping out of my seat when I saw that in the credits because I had no idea. I just saw it come up like executive producer Jordan Belfort, and I was like, "What?
Yeah. Well,
Why
well,
did
you've got.
Marty exclude this from the Wolf of Wall Street?"
No, yeah, absolutely. I knew he did it. I don't know if he did anything else production. I don't know much about his involvement or anything. I just know
Yeah,
he was involved.
yeah.
If you give me 2 seconds, I will. I do have something here.
Okay, so while you're researching that, if you want me to vamp for time, in
Go
terms of
ahead.
our experience with this film, for me, nothing. Hulk Hogan as a whole, I was aware of him growing up in the 90s. I was aware of him as an action figure and a persona. But my only real experience with Hulk Hogan would have been in the masterpiece Joe Dante's Gremlins 2: The New Batch, where he's in one of my favorite scenes of all time. Like I love that scene so much.
Yes, yes. So this is why I'm hosting because I am the self-professed Hulkamaniac of the two of us. My experience with Hogan himself, I'm a wrestling fan. I grew up in the 90s. I NWO Hulk Hogan all the way. I I have seen this film for the record. I
Yeah.
seen this as a child. I think Mr. Nanny in this. I probably were rentals, and I did revisit this in my early 20s with a friend just to goof on Hogan, to have a fun time. We did his entire filmography bar one or two.
Whew.
So yes, the thing is, Hogan is amazing in Gremlins 2. Steals the
Yeah.
show in Gremlins 2. He
hmm
upstages my boy Sylvester Stallone in Rocky 3, and arguably he no is he's hosted SNL. He did that
Has he?
really he
What?
did with Mr. T.
Okay.
And season 10, if anyone wants to see it, I think it's the Commodores or the special guest, the music guest.
Wow.
It's awful, but it's entertaining because
Yeah.
I think this is what I need to kind of go into before the movie. Hogan as himself, especially in the 80s, is a bundle of cocaine energy. He is
Yeah.
charismatic and energetic, and you can't take your eyes off him. By 1996, though, when the steroids are off and he's slimmer and he's tired and older, he doesn't have that same energy. So the transition to action star is missed. He's missed the boat almost. But anyway, this I don't think this is his worst. I don't think this is his best either. My favorite is Suburban Commando, for the record. Um, I
What a
I
title.
I hate No Holds Barred, his wrestling film, the WWF film, which is in the 80s and does have his cocaine energy, but I hate that movie. So yeah, it's a mixed bag. So this is a rewatch, but I haven't seen it in about 15 years. So it's going in with fresh eyes. So sorry, I just wanted to say I don't know what Jordan Belfort's sort of production role was on it. The only thing I knew about it is that he did produce a film before called The Secret Agent Club,
Okay.
which also stars, guess who, Hulk Hogan,
Oh.
in a double role. It's one that I haven't seen.
Wow.
I thought I'd went through all of them, but he does have a lot of trash. So this is like his double team Van Damme, and it's the same
Yeah.
director as well. The director
Okay.
John
Yeah.
Murlovsky, who I've never heard of. He's done 60 plus movies, all straight to TV or DVD or the bin. So this is a buddies film, and on that note is why there's no record of the budget for this film.
Oh yeah.
It had mixed some Wikipedia tells me 2 weeks. Box Office Mojo tells me an 8 week run. So
Uh huh.
not hard to tell where it would have been. But how much money do you think this bad boy made?
2 million.
2 million. Wow. Wow, you're an optimistic young man. 200,000.
Okay, yeah. Sorry, I should have. I wasn't factoring in the length of the run. That would have
Two,
been. They would have been overjoyed with that
a
much.
million
Yeah,
every week. Fantastic. um, so yeah, this is made to be bunged in the bargain bins in
yeah,
rental
yeah,
shops and then eventually make its way to TV. This is not a vehicle for anybody. This is a cynical cash in.
yeah.
But without further ado, let's get into it then.
Okay. So once we get out of the credits, that's 3/4 of my notes done.
Okay.
Because before Jordan Belfort's name comes up, we get Mila Kunis. Surprise, she's in this movie.
It's her debut.
Oh, okay,
So
okay.
it is her movie debut. She did an interview when I was having a bit of research where she talked about it. It was in an interview about American Psycho 2 and sort of ragging on her roles. And she said she was too young to appreciate working with Hulk Hogan. So
Yeah, yeah.
you can sarcasm or not. Yeah. So when the credits are hitting in, I got so fucking excited. And it's not Mila Kunis. It wasn't Hogan either. I'm ashamed to say I popped for Garrett Morris. I popped for Clint Howard, and then finally, I totally forgot Ed Begley Jr. Uh, right, I think he was on featuring as well.
Yeah, I think
So
he gets the and, yeah.
I was excited because it's a straight to DVD or straight to video piece of trash. I expect Sinbad lower than Sinbad levels of stars. So when I'm getting the baby from Star Trek and I'm getting Begley Jr. and I'm happy. I'm getting some people. I'm getting an SNL or I get my shot. I'm excited. I'm really excited, and I remember the opening scene so well, like scarily well. We have Hulk Hogan playing, God, what's his name? Blake Thorne, who is a millionaire who has created a whey powder and protein shakes, and he is
Yeah.
beating the shit out of his staff, and they're attacking him relentlessly. And it's just it's something I don't know why it's stuck in my brain. It's why because they're all dressed up like stereotypes as well. They're all the gardener's dressed like a gardener coming at him with shears, and it's all revealed obviously to be a never say never again training exercise for Hogan. But
Yeah.
and speaking of which, Hogan is wearing a toupee in this film. It's
What?
it is not his natural hair. The '90s Hogan with the spiky Dennis the Menace look
Yeah.
is quite unique. I do think he pulls it off well, if I'm being deadly honest. He doesn't look like Hulk Hogan all the time, which is a big bonus. But yeah, I remember this is imprinted in my brain. All the staff attacking him, and him. The only genuine laugh I kind of get is they're tired. Yes, Mister Hogan Thorne. I will see you tomorrow. Your time's not. They do this every day. You just want to make him breakfast, but you've got to chase him down with a fucking roller pin. And I thought that's fun. There could have been more from here. It's all downhill
Hmm.
after this, but I really enjoy this opening.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree. I did not have a good time with this film, and so we're going to be leaning on you very heavily. But the opening led me to believe I was in for a better time than I
Yeah.
expected. it held my attention for about 10 minutes, and I was like, cool. Like, yeah, this is going to be great. Like, I was honestly surprised. I was like, Hulk Hogan's so charismatic here. Why did he not have more of a movie career?
Hmm.
Did the sex tape or his racism tie into things? Because like I was like, he's great here. He could
But
definitely have been not if
he
not an Arnie, a
he's not
Stallone.
an Arnie. He's not like that's what I'm right. So like I don't want to derail this entire and not talk about this movie, but it's weighing on my mind a lot. Like I said, I know that the '80s energy is probably what would have made him a star, but
Yeah.
he's still got natural charisma that would have. He's still a cut above Seagal and Van Damme and
Ooh.
even like Lundgren in terms of charisma. You know,
Yeah,
just
yeah, he's a
just
compelling
charisma.
screen presence. Yeah.
Yes, he through wrestling and through being Hulk Hogan, the man's very emotive. You know, he
Yeah.
can have some good reactions. You give him and you're battling his ego and you have to appease him to make him look cool. But if he was oh god, you know, if he was in the hands of a modern director back here in '96 that would have been able to harness him and you know take something out of him, he
Yeah.
could have been more than a D list straight to the bin. He could have been in the Expendables, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, he's way better than D-list. He seems to have had like exceptionally bad luck or exceptional personal issues because he is capable of he shows glimmers of potential of could easily have been something more
Yes,
just based off the raw talent which is there.
but as far as anyone does know, it's what you've said there. It's attitude problems. He notorious difficult person to work with. Is Stallone gets away because it's pre-fame, you know. But even in Gremlins 2, no one, you know, Joe Dante. If it is it Joe Dante in the second one, isn't directing
Yeah.
him. You know, like he's just coming in, do your spiel, get out. Like, so yeah. But anyway, continue on.
Okay, my first note is we get an appearance of the bandana because he's not wearing the bandana for his first scene and then it appears like 10 minutes in. And that is my
Hmm.
final note for the film.
Oh wow. I mean, I'm glad they never did the old bait and switch. I would have loved to see
Yeah,
him with the bandana and a fake mustache to reveal, you know, actually I'm Blake Thorne and I'm
yeah,
not Hogan. That
that
would
would
have
have
been a
been good,
nice.
yeah.
Yeah, like
We could have got the Oppenheimer scene of like he's swanning around and then someone goes like, just, they hired you to be you, so you be you. And then we get the suiting up, the Chris Nolan suiting up scene of him putting on the bandana, growing the mustache,
yeah,
time lapse.
amazing. So there really isn't much. I'll try and go through the film.
Yeah.
Him and his friend are out paintballing, and police start chasing him, led by none other than the best Howard sibling, Clint Howard, who you know he's high build as well, and I was
Yeah.
you know I love Clint. I said you know Star Trek. I love him. Waterboy always has a special place in my heart. Props up everywhere. He's my you know he's the Frank Stallone to Ron Howard. So I've always got a special place in my heart for Clint. So he's in charge. He's the sheriff, I believe. There's a lot of eyebrow raising here watching it back, where Hogan's shooting police cars with a paintball gun, and it just doesn't send a very good message. He's too reckless. So he
Are
runs
you
off.
saying you wouldn't let your kids watch
I don't think
Santa
I
with
would. I don't
Muscles?
think no. I think he's a bad Santa because there's. I mean, we're going to speak about this when we get to it, the comparisons to other films. But the essential plot is Mr. Hogan gets amnesia from running away from the police.
Mm-hmm.
He wakes up and Don Stark convinces him he is none other than Santa Claus.
Yeah.
Don Stark, of course, best known from that '70s show, The Beloved Bob. So it's a nice pre-'70s show here with Mila and I don't think they share a scene. Maybe they do towards the end, but
Yeah.
that's a nice little '70s show thing getting together. He's also in Star Trek as well, so I get a lot of Star Treks here. You know, Bagley
You're in your
Jr.
element.
Oh, you're in First Contact. You're in Enterprise. So I was having fun, but yeah. So the whole film, Hogan thinks he's fucking Santa. Hi, Don Stark's what's the sidekick in Bad Santa called?
Oh,
Tony
Marcus?
Marcus, that's the one. Yeah, Marcus and
Yeah.
Tony. He's Marcus. He's trying to steal something. I can't remember why he's trying to corrupt Santa or keep him in the Santa gimmick. Steals his wallet. That's what it fucking is. It's stupid. Um, oh yeah, Hogan gets involved with an orphanage led by Garrett
Mhm.
Morris. Mila Kunis is there. The orphanage is under threat from Ed Begley Jr., who wants something underneath it. I
The
can't remember.
crystals, isn't it?
Crystals, that's what the fucking it is. And
It's
yeah,
the
yeah,
most 90s. There's
it's just
something
the
to do with
most.
sea monkeys, and
There's
crystals
something
are
there
pivotal for some reason. Yeah, yeah,
because it does. It drags stuff. This is what you're talking about. The first 20 minutes, I'm having fun. Even the mall things, I'm not having fun, but at least my eyes are open. But once
yeah.
it actually gets going with the fucking kids, I am so quickly tired and tuned out because
Yeah.
this is a Three Ninjas sequel standard, which is like what Hogan was in. This is rough. Mila Kunis is so annoying in this that I wanted to just fucking turn it off.
Yeah.
I just wanted to turn it off basically half an hour in and talk about Hogan and see if I can
Yeah.
bullshit it. So I don't know why I stuck around. Ed Begley Jr. shot all these scenes in a day, if that.
Yeah.
Garrett Morris barely stands up because you're not paying him that much. Nothing happens. There's no jokes. There's there's nothing in here that's fun. All the thing, like I was busy looking up things throughout this film. Obviously,
Yeah.
the big one is Jingle All the Way.
Hmm.
So if we're going to go into the Arnie comparisons, this was released 6 days before Jingle All the Way.
Ooh.
So if you're wanting to be cynical and you're wanting, I don't, I maybe it's cynical of me to assume that the Wolf of Wall Street had bad intentions, less than stellar intentions, releasing this a week before. This is the prelude to Ants and Bugs Life. It was
Yeah,
Santa
yeah.
with Muscles or Jingle All the Way. So a part of me thinks they knew this Jingle All the Way was coming and
Yeah,
just
they're like,
throw
get
it,
this out
get
quick.
this out, we can film it in LA. Fuck it, we'll do it in my mansion. Go down to the mall. Fuck it, we don't even need rights. Just go do it. Yeah,
A friend of mine has got a cave full of crystals.
yeah.
Werner Herzog shooting Cave of Forgotten Dreams somewhere. We'll just go and borrow that for 5 minutes and use the crystals.
Exactly. You're not. I mean, and the sets are reused. I'm sure of it, especially at the end. The
Yeah,
cave sets there. That's
yeah,
straight out
yeah.
of fucking.
That's a back lot. That they're like,
Yeah.
hey, is it cool if we use this for 5 minutes?
Well, we've got
Sure, but you better be quick. We're de-rigging.
we got 60 episodes of Power Rangers to film today.
Yeah, that's interesting. I didn't think of Jingle All the Way in terms of like the immediate release of this film. I was just like, Jingle All the Way is gonna like wipe the floor with this. Like, Arnie is gonna just like devour Hulk Hogan alive when it comes out. The thing I thought of was, I was like, with the hench people, I was like, this is so clearly trying to capitalize on Home Alone inventing a genre.
Oh yeah, the
Because like
hench.
the criminals are just like Harry and Marv
Yeah,
rejects.
and they're boring. They're not. There's no
Yeah.
fun pranks and jokes and
No,
things.
no. It's like someone with no imagination being like, oh, some criminals and some kids do stuff.
Well,
And
there's a bit in it. There's a scene that made me think. I don't know why. It just made me stop and question my existence. But it's towards the end where Ron Howard, Clint Howard catches Hogan again. He does
yeah,
have a good. He has a good little bit where he's hyping himself up in the car, pretending to stop himself. To have the speech. Hogan flies past, and he's like, "Oh, it's that fucking terrorist again." He
yeah.
takes after him, and the team, the slaves, his mansion team, are on board with Hogan, and they're all
Hmm.
throwing things. And one of them throws, I think it's like cooking oil, or is it like sauce? And it's literally
Yeah.
a fucking dribble comes out in the hot Californian highway, instantly evaporates, and they have to pretend the car is like skidding out of control.
Yeah,
There's no
yeah.
budget, there's no imagination. Like a car does blow up with a rocket, and
Hmm.
I was very surprised at that because all the chases are very careful. Like we have rented these cars for 12 hours and no, fill them up on petrol, don't scratch them. Like, so like, there's just these random. This it's the lack of imagination. The reason I was thinking with Jingle All the Way was because, well, Mila Kunis and Lloyd. So I was like, the
Yeah.
child stars are going to become more famous than the film. Phil
Seth
Hartman.
MacFarlane is gonna date both of the child stars.
Phil Hartman, Garrett Morris. I can. you know.
Very generous.
I
Yeah.
well, I can hear Jordan's voice. They got an SNLer. We gotta
Yeah,
get me an SNLer.
yeah.
Garrett Morris will do it for 2 joints and a hamburger. Okay, get me Garrett Morris. Yeah, what is there to say when there's something so cynical and just lazy?
I might be imagining it, but I feel like there's a conversation like the one Kevin has with the old man. Like, there's, like, when he's, like, speaks to the creepy old man, the shovel guy. I feel like there is a beat that's equivalent to that, but I really cannot remember it. I phased out of existence while this film was playing. This was just nothing. Like, this is just. I don't know. This is going to be like a 20-minute long episode because I have nothing to say about this film. It's just
Yeah,
like a TV movie. It's just completely unremarkable. It's not like it doesn't try anything bad enough. Like it doesn't try anything. We can't speak about the things about the film that don't work because it just doesn't do anything.
it doesn't
It's
exist.
nothing.
It's,
Yeah.
and this is why I wish I could have brought this up in retrospect with Kirk Cameron and just be like,
Yeah.
mate, you don't know the reality of bad Christmas movies. Give me
Yeah.
fake hot chocolate and dance sauce any day.
Yeah.
Give me
Yeah,
something.
what would I have given to be saved by Saving Christmas
Yeah.
whilst watching this film? For Kirk Cameron just to come in, sit Hulk Hogan down, pour him an empty glass of hot chocolate,
Oh,
and to tell us about the Lord. Oh man, that would have been
it's the
just
crossover.
what I needed.
You need it. Bang, Hogan. Bang, Cameron. This summer.
Well, funnily enough, I actually, looking at my 3 lines of notes, I typed this on my phone, and I had accidentally titled it "Satan with Muscles." So potential crossover there.
Well, yeah.
I know Terrence Malick is making that film with Mark Rylance as Satan, but did he miscast? Could Hogan have done a better job?
This is it. This is and I'm thinking about other films. This is the worst Christmas film on this podcast. This is also the
Yeah.
worst Christmas film I've seen with a wrestler playing Santa, which is it shouldn't be more. There shouldn't be more off the top of
Yeah.
my head. But there's I think it's mid 2000s. I'd need to look it up, and it is Santa's Sleigh. Hold on, let me get this
Okay.
up. Which has got Bill Goldberg in the role of Santa. It's a slasher black comedy, and it's again actually like there's the similarities. It's got an SNLer, so
Yeah.
tick. I can make my Santa film. It's got a strange producer, Brett Ratner.
Oh, okay.
So you've got all these like things that are I'm crossing over. Just for the record, you'd never guess who the SNLer is, and that is Chris Kattan. So like
Wow.
you're going from Phil Hartman.
Nope, so on
Hal-
Chris Kattan.
No, just turn it off. But it's actually a fun little film.
Yeah.
I do recommend it. So yeah, I don't have much else to say about this film.
Yeah.
I don't recommend it.
No.
I barely want to count it as a Razzie worthy film, but they did go and fucking release it in the cinema.
Yeah.
So rules are rules. I was thinking about 1996 in general here and
Yeah.
how this absolutely should be. This is what a Razzie film should be. It should be almost impossible to watch. Like
I would have quit this podcast if we had
It's
to
funny- no,
watch
it
even
wouldn't be
another
fun.
Santa with Muscles.
No,
We would
don't
have
get me
no
wrong.
listeners.
Give me all the give me all the Verhovens. Give me all the fun.
Yeah.
I wouldn't trade Cocktail for the world, but
No.
objectively, if you're going to base it on an absolute sincere merit as a mirror of the Oscars, this is the quality that should be put up. This is the trash of the trash.
Yeah, so do we want to reference 1996?
I do
That was the
indeed.
year of Striptease.
It was
So,
indeed.
Striptease, fascinating. It feels like it's 3 hours long, but like I would watch Striptease a million times over. We have our beloved Ariel Sharon, the Israeli like IDF nurse, but yeah, Striptease a mess, but a fascinating mess in comparison to this. We could do podcasts just on one scene from Striptease.
Yes.
Like the Burt Reynolds lathered up. We could speak about that for hours. In fact, we
Hours.
did. Our
was-
Striptease episode was like longer than the film.
I will
But-
remember Striptease till the day I die. I forgot this film after the credits rolled. So like this
It
is the
just like it
difference of
wasn't writing to
fascination.
my brain. My eyes were watching it, and I just wasn't taking anything in. So I can just really say I'm sorry, listeners. And we don't even have a second half to conjure any magic up.
No,
It's
no, no.
just gonna be this.
Yeah,
Um, so you know what? If you've made it this far, maybe just turn off because
guys,
it's
you're
like
all right.
thanks for
Medic.
joining us. Sorry, we're the substitute teachers. We'll do something good next week. Um,
Absolutely.
but yeah, um, so striptease, of course. Barbed wire, a mess, a disaster. But again, like so much more compelling than Santa with muscles. You saw Ed, the
Hmm.
Matt LeBlanc and the Monkey film,
It's arguably like closest to this in terms of it feels like a TV movie,
but it has a monkey.
but it does
It
have a
has a
monkey.
monkey. No
It
one can
does.
deny that it has a monkey.
Yes, it does. And yeah, yeah, it's yeah, it's still better.
Yeah, The Island of Dr. Moreau. We've
Yeah.
obviously waxed lyrical about that
Hmm.
and the legend of that film. And then The Stupids, the Max Landis? John Landis. Tom Arnold movie. So, yeah, this is like clearly Razzie worthy on its on an entirely different plane of existence. Like, I'm grateful that Mr. Razzie didn't watch this
Yeah.
and he didn't nominate this
I,
because
I've
this
I've
would have
I've
been.
I've pulled up 1996, and I think this sweeps. The only thing I will say is I do
Yeah.
think Hulk Hogan is better than Pauly Shore in Biodome.
Yeah.
So I hope he can save a nomination. I can be happy as that, but the rest of it clears the fucking board. Like
Well, Polly Shore.
screenplay, fucking hell.
The screenplay is almost doing a film a credit to assume there was a screenplay, or it wasn't just like a dusted off. Like
It's
we've
what
stapled the Christmas episode of a couple of sitcoms together, and here we go.
I can
Like
tell
this
you
is
now
an
is
AI
there's a
screenplay.
producer talking to Jordan Belfort about his new film with
Yeah,
Arnold Schwarzenegger. Jordan runs home, writes on a notepad what he remembers from that conversation. He
yeah.
watches a fucking Christmas special of fucking the Honeymooners, steals what he
He
can,
yeah.
and there we
He
go.
phones up Sylvester Stallone, realizes that it's Frank Stallone, asks him for his brother's number. He says no. He's then watching TV. Wrestling is taking place. A
this
kid
is
walks by with an Incredible Hulk t-shirt.
this is
He drops his mug.
this it's empty hot chocolate mug. Uh,
Kevin Spacey is there for some reason.
this is I if this is the thing is I've bragged on Mila Kunis as really annoying in this. She would have taken an award, so I'm glad she hasn't. I'm glad her career didn't get ruined. I'm glad she escaped the Jake Lloyd.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because she would have been worst new star, hang her, throw her off a bridge, like she's done.
All the kids are just they're just like sort of not great movie kids, and it's just the issue is like it's so earnest, like it doesn't know what to do. Like they're all just so bland. Everything about this film is so bland and so personalityless. It's truly astounding how little this film does. Like again, these kids are just like we've spoken about like movie 43 and the Love Guru and the moments of improv where people like Vern Troyer or Johnny Knoxville come to life with just like a moment of ad lib.
Hmm.
It's truly astounding that they managed to find kids as lifeless as these are. It's almost like the Troll 2 kid. It's
Yeah.
just like they have sucked all the vitality. Like, in fact, my backdrop, there's a kid kind of giving like a big, like, cheesy grin sat on Hulk Hogan's knee, just glowering. I don't remember this happening. I don't recall this because it's all just kind of sincere, like, "Oh, Santa, do you want a cookie?" Like, oh, it's
Well, it's
I
just you're just broken, aren't you? And I think it's strange because it's Mila Kunis and who is it? The other orphanage girl, Brenda Song, playing Susan. She
yeah,
was she's obviously a big star now, grown up a little bit, but like she's a Nickelodeon or Disney girl as well. So like these are people that have gone on to do things. Like it's weird to have such a amount of, I'm not going to say strong talent crew or anything like
yeah.
that, but you do have people that are at least a cut above most, you know, this quality of film, the standard. So I don't know. I guess no. You give me this. If Jordan Belfort came up to me in 1996 and said, "Here, go nuts," I would have given you insanity. I would have given you the most fucking crazy thing I could possibly conjure up. I would be lines with Hogan, anything I can do, both reading lines and doing lines, anything to make this film do good. Yeah, I just think it's such a little bit of a waste. Like, you think of the creativity in Jingle All the Way, which doesn't need it at times, and it still just runs with it and has such fun. And yeah, it's just shit. Can't say more.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So, like you mentioned the director, but the all the cast and crew are black on Wikipedia, so they're not hyperlinked. Don't have
Yeah,
their own Wikipedia pages.
glad
Looking
you
them up
added
on
that.
IMDb, this is the only writing credit for all of them.
Oh, I
So
did.
all three credited screenwriters. One of them has 4 credits. One is a short, one's a TV movie, one's a TV series. The other one, Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure as the water slide attendant.
Oh,
So
I actually
that
remember
is
who that is as well. I can
that's
see
Jonathan Bond.
it. Yeah.
If you look up the one of the other screenwriters, Fred Mata, he has a slightly better acting career with 15 credits, most recent being this year. He was
Hmm.
in the Santa Games, but yeah, this is his only screenplay credit.
Well, I did read that somewhere that the original writer of the screenplay sued to get his name off, which makes
Someone called Aaron Sorkin.
it could be like but then that means to me that this was a script, like you say, for a sitcom that was passed about, and you grab it, you score out some things, boom, Santa's there, make it happen.
Yeah,
Take out that, yeah, just, and then let's just film it. Hollywood, we've got 2 days, let's just fucking bash it out. So yeah, they
yeah.
didn't put any effort into it, so I'm not going to put any effort into it deconstructing Santa with muscles.
No, I'm sorry, listeners. Once again, if you've made it this far, like, I don't know, skip to the end and see what we're coming back with next week. But, like, I'm truly sorry because I just feel like this is such a crushing disappointment. When I picked this film, I was like, okay, the worst film, the worst Hulk Hogan film, this is going to be a car crash. But instead, it's just like watching a piece of shit car that drives just to the edge of your sight and then all the wheels fall off.
Yeah.
And someone shouts like, "Hey, can you phone a mechanic?" And you're like, no. It's just like, yeah, it's driving past a broken down car at the side of the road,
it's
being like, "Well, I'm on the way to work. No time to stop. Sorry, we've
it's
all got better things to be doing."
it's low energy, and that's the
Yeah,
biggest crime you can have on this podcast. It's
yeah,
sad,
yeah.
and yeah, don't like it.
So I have a quote here from Chris Hicks writing for the Deseret News with the quote here that says Hulk Hogan makes Arnold Schwarzenegger seem like Laurence Olivier. So
I
2 Razzie winners there.
Okay, again, I still think that's harsh. I'm gonna say Hogan. Yeah, Schwarzenegger is so much better, but I don't think Hogan could be like an antagonist. He could be in
Yeah.
Predator. He can be in Commando. Like, I can
Hulk
see it.
Hogan isn't the problem with this film. The
Yeah,
problem is there isn't a film around Hulk Hogan. But yeah,
exactly.
he's boring. He contributes to it being boring, whereas Arnie and his Brando-esque charisma would conjure something up. So yeah, fixes for this film.
Hmm. Everything. Just,
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, you could take the plot thread and do something with it. If you were given free reign, you can easily get creative, and even
Yeah.
if it's just like I keep comparing it to Jingle All the Way, but Jingle All the Way for me is great, even without Arnie. I love the crazy. I love how much passion went into the design, the toy making, smuggling ring, Phil Hartman's absolute top tier performance. Like, there's so much good fun in there. I think it's so much things that make that if you just take that energy and that passion almost and just do it in this, but that's a lot to ask. Otherwise, maybe lean into more of the bad Santa. You could have predated that by a few years because
Yeah.
he is an asshole. Like he could have been he could have been involved in the crimes and
Have him,
masterminding it.
like, the name Santa with muscles conjures up like a juxtaposition, or not a juxtaposition, a conflict with the Santas without muscles.
Well,
So is he gonna run into, like, whereas it's irrelevant that this Santa has muscles.
well, no, but
Like,
Kirk Cameron told me that Santa was a badass, right?
yeah.
So Santa would have muscles. So give me Kirk
Yeah.
Cameron's Santa with muscles, where he's just
Yeah.
fucking beating the shit out of priests in Bethlehem. Then yeah, and he's played by Hulk Hogan. Then you've got all my money.
Yeah.
Take it. It's a
Yeah.
smash hit.
And so all that remains is the most half-assed wrap-up in podcast history. Because I am just so ashamed with what we've delivered and why anyone would possibly want to listen to more of
I
this.
didn't expect you to be so downbeat. To be honest, I mean, I got my Clint Howard contact high, but that's about it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I apologize, everyone. Sorry for speaking about Hulk Hogan for 20 minutes, and then maybe watch No Holds Barred. Maybe you'd have a great time with that. You never know.
Yeah, don't watch
Suburban
this if you've
Commando,
got this far.
Thunder
if
in
you've got this
Paradise,
far.
so much to watch.
All we can really say is, I guess, future specials will have more consideration and will come from the list of things we've been coming up with, like the Karen movie, the Karen slasher movie, or
Yeah.
music, or like all the things which, at the very least, we could speak about, like our expectations or why we were passionate about them
Yes.
going in. So yeah, congratulations if you have made it this far. We will release you in a moment's time, once again keeping the teaching analogy of just like the substitute teacher is just like, well, sorry, can't let you go just yet. So thank you if you have made it this far. If for whatever reason you desire more of this podcast, you can find us at Watching Worst on social media, and you can email us at watchingworstfilms@gmail.com, where you can send us suggestions for future specials, or indeed berate us for wasting under an hour of your life with this episode. But we're going to be getting back on the Razzie horse next week. Kyle, I'm telling you, I already feel reinvigorated to resume our journey, the final stretch. We are heading back off. I'm ready. I'm fighting fit. I've taken a bump of Colombian fighting powder with my good friend Hulk, and we are ready to go, because we are back to you next week with the year of 1987, which is another joint winner. And we've worked out how we're going to do it. So I think we're going to deal with the first half of the film, the first winner on Tuesday. And rather than bringing you a double episode week, the first episode 1 week, and then the following week will be the second part of the year, which means we're going to be back to you next week with Howard the Duck.
Howard the Duck.
Joint winner from 1986.
So I am very, very excited. It's our first Marvel film on the podcast.
The MCU
the
entering
MCU.
the Razzie Hall of Fame at last.
If
Come on down, Kevin Feige.
If George Lucas is involved, I'm up for it. I'm always excited.
Yeah.
Say no more.
So you can join us next week for that, when we will both be a lot more enthusiastic, for sure. Imagine
true.
we're not. Imagine it's awful, because again, we don't have the second half.
No.
So imagine if we're just like, oh my god, who knew it? But Howard the Duck is just like Hulk Hogan in duck form.
If Santa with muscles comes out cleaner on the other end of Howard the Duck, I'm going to be fucking mortified. But I doubt it. I doubt it. Budget,
No, we're going to have
ducks,
plenty to speak about.
puppeteers,
Duck,
George
James
Lucas.
Gunn, George Lucas. Yeah. Join us for that next week.
Yeah, excellent. Thank you very much, guys. See you next week.